Hey Brian, how's it going?
It's going great. I'm ready to kick this thing off. I got a quick and breezy presentation here. If y'all know me from the Monday webinars, you know how I like to do it. So um, I'm going to get this thing set up and wait for some people to get in here.
Perfect. Super. And once again, if anybody has any questions during Brian's session, feel free to ask them in the chat or in the Q&A section. And Brian will make sure to answer them live. And if he doesn't, I'll make sure that he answers them for you right before his next session. All right.
Listen,
I am going to... Go ahead.
You know what I want to say today? There are no dumb questions, so I want to hear all of it. Tell me everything.
Perfect. I will let you take it away, Brian. All you.
All right. How many people we got in here? Do I need to wait a minute more? Are we waiting on people? Oh no, we got a bunch of people here. All right, great. I'm going to go ahead and get into it. Hey everybody, my name is Bryan. I'm Director of Growth Marketing here at Northbeam. I come from an e-commerce background, agency background, journalism background, a whole bunch of different backgrounds. I'm the author of the Media Buyer newsletter, which I hope a lot of you have signed up for. Autumn, if you can share the link to that, where I share insights, insider data, competitive data from Northbeam brands every single week. Really, really helpful stuff. And this is Northbeam's official presentation today. So as Autumn said, we're going to talk about performance marketing profitability in 2023, which I know everybody's got that on their minds. And a lot of people have claimed it's not easy, or that it's not possible, or that the golden age of performance marketing is over because now we can't grow to $500 million like Warby Parker did by just running a handful of Facebook ads. None of this is true. But before we start with that, I want to start with a quote. A lot of people attribute this quote to Henry Ford, but actually it's from department store magnate and like marketing pioneer John Wanamaker. So half the money I spent on advertising is wasted. The trouble is I don't know which half. This guy probably invented the price tag and the non-negotiable store prices we see today. And he was on top of this issue before the rest of us were even thinking about it, right? The only problem is this is just not true in 2023. You can know what is driving your digital ads, even in this world, or your digital spend, your digital success, even in this world of increased, privacy laws, walled gardens that you're seeing in lots of your different social media platforms, where they're trying to kind of own the entire process from awareness to conversion. You can understand which half of your advertising is wasted. You can, and you should. It's the only way to stay profitable. I think without advanced tools helping you understand ad attribution and things like that, you fully cannot see the sort of success that maybe your clients are expecting, maybe you're expecting, or your CEOs are expecting from your advertising campaigns. There's a couple barriers standing in the way of our success. So it's things like incomplete third-party data. When I say that, I mean, the conversion numbers that you might see in platform that say things like, oh yeah, our ads were the ones that drove conversion, right? Where you have like multiple different platforms taking credit. That's a consistent issue. And also the inability to understand outside of holdout tests, which is like you cutting your ad spend into a specific thing and just seeing what happens. Outside of holdout tests, it's really difficult to understand how all of your ads on different channels are affecting each other. And when I say that, I mean like, how is my Facebook spend affecting my Google performance, affecting my TikTok performance, affecting my email, right? Like you have no way of understanding that, even though most of you are running ads on all of those channels, right? And so what ends up happening is you kind of have this black box of understanding where you're kind of guessing and you're just pulling levers and you're trying to see what happens, right? And then you're stuck in the same place that John Wanamaker is, and without that, you can't make the sort of tactical media buying decisions, that we heard about in the last session. And that we're going to talk about all day today. You can't make those kind of decisions to actually grow profitably. You can't identify, laser in on like, hey, this is the thing that's driving my success, right? So let's talk about what you need. What you really need, shameless self-plug, but we're self-plugging it because we built it literally for this reason, is Northbeam's universal attribution. And what I mean when I say universal attribution is our tool for helping you understand what ads can be attributed to what sales, right? So looking at your orders and understanding this ad drove this order, or this collection of ads in this order over this period of time all influence the purchase, right? Because that's the key to understanding, hey, this is what's actually making my marketing profitable. This is actually the funnel that's driving my digital performance. Like, we need to identify that, understand how everything works together, and that's going to give us an understanding of where we should spend our money, right? What universal attribution is, in a nutshell, is our advanced tracking and device graph. When I say device graph, I mean all the different devices that a user uses through a day, stitched together to understand that it is actually one user, right? So your phone, your cell phone, your smart fridge, right? It's all, we understand that it's all one user, it's you, right? So we can track a user journey a little bit more effectively. We have a ton of attribution models powered by machine learning, right? So we're actually using ML to understand what is the likelihood that this conversion was driven by this ad, right? By looking at your performance and also the performance of hundreds of Northbeam customers. And I'm going to say trillions, because I don't know the word that's bigger than that, lines of data that we use to actually analyze and guess, and using machine learning make educated, extremely accurate responses of, we think this ad drove that conversion, right? And then, of course, universal attribution is a concept that hangs over multiple attribution models. So we're using last click, clicks plus views, which is truly amazing. Multi-touch attribution, which is what we're doing a lot here. It's what I'm talking about, like, what were all the ads your user touched on the way to conversion? Media mix modeling, which is understanding how the effect of your total spend amount on each channel can influence your overall revenue. And of course, incrementality. Where's the S curve of diminishing returns as you start to spend more on certain channels? Is there a point where every dollar spent does not equal perhaps exponentially more, and it starts to become ineffective? These are the sort of things that universal attribution via Northbeam can help you track, right? All right, still got plenty of time. The reason why universal attribution works in the first place is because we're doing first-party data collection. And I get a lot of people who are like, I don't really understand what first-party data is. Like, what is that, right? First-party data is data that you own that is collected by sources that you control, right? So we're not going out and relying on anybody else to collect this data for us. As a result, Northbeam's data, which is collected from our tracking parameters, our cookies, our pixels, is the most conservative and accurate data that you can collect, because we don't really have any skin in the game. We want to give you the most accurate data we can, right? So as a result, you have actually accurate user identification across all of your different ads, everything that you might be running. We're not pulling data from anywhere else where maybe it's being modeled upon by somebody else and then that's being put into our model. No, we are collecting it all ourselves, which allows you, one, control over, okay, I really want to understand what the paths to conversion are. I own all these paths to conversion. And then two, it allows you to understand, okay, which of these ads, based on the data that I'm collecting, not somebody else is telling me how the ad is working, which of these ads based on the data that I'm looking at, that I know works, that I'm collecting myself, is more accurate, right? So that's something else you get from first-party data. The final piece of universal attribution for me is the attribution models. A lot of people are like, what's the best attribution model, Brian? Like, which one should I pick? Should I pick last click, linear, first click, J-shaped? I'm like, no, dude, use them all. Use them all. And that's what you get with universal attribution, is you have the ability to go in and, without breaking or changing anything, change which attribution model you want to look at and have, therefore, a more holistic view of all of your ad performance. So you could go, show me all last clicks. Okay, that looks fine. I think I sort of understand, which ads are driving bottom of funnel. Now show me clicks and views. Oh, actually, all this top of funnel stuff is actually having an impact on the middle of funnel and the bottom of funnel, right? And you could just go in and just change that. And it doesn't change the way that your ads are trafficked or anything like that. That's a sort of view that's really, really rare and hard to get. And you'll hear me preach this a lot every single week, is I'm constantly talking about, you need to look at all of your data, all the different ways to get a full view. I don't really think there's one thing you can look at, right, that's just going to tell you exactly what ads are working. It's all about looking at the data that you have available to you. And if you have multiple attribution models, you can better understand your marketing funnel, which I think not enough of us are using, right? Now, y'all came here today because you want 5 quick takeaways. I'm going to give you 5 quick takeaways. The first thing you need to understand is that you got to maximize your ROAS for your existing channels and campaigns. If you're not doing that, then I don't know what you're doing, right? You've got to be creative testing. If you're not creative testing, if you're just willy-nilly throwing stuff up there and hoping that it works, this is not gonna work. We have to get to a point where you are running clean, focused tests with accurate data. We are scientists here, folks, trying to find ads that our audience likes, resonates with, clicks on, and therefore drives conversion, right? Another thing you want to do is you definitely want to launch new acquisition channels. When you have something like Northbeam, you can actually say, I can actually handle launching a new channel now. Or, oh, I finally got some creative together. I think I can actually handle jumping on and really managing my Google search instead of just running brand campaigns, right? So let's get into these 5 steps. The first thing you want to do is you want to understand your lifetime value. I am a big fan of cohorting lifetime value by days from first purchase. So a lot of you are looking at your LTVs right now and you're being like, oh, great, I got 127 LTV. Like, we're good, right? You're decidedly not good if it takes a year and a half to get to that LTV. If it takes a year and a half to get to that LTV, then that means it takes a year and a half to really get to some level of profitability for your business. You want to know that you have a strong LTV in your first 30, 60, let's say 90 days. If you've got a long purchase cycle or you sell something that's kind of bulky and people don't really need to buy more or buy another one or whatever, you want to front load your LTV, because if you're doing that, that's going to allow you to have more money to advertise, to continue to front load your LTV, more cash in your bank account. You see how the cycle goes, right? So immediately you want to start with this. I would also say you want to understand your LTV from various different like angles, right? So not only your cohort of time, but actually what product are your most profitable via LTV? Do you have subscriptions that are really killing it for you? What geos are working? What consideration phase is actually most powerful for you in your funnel? And also understanding order frequency, right? You just want to have this holistic view of how are people even buying my stuff? And you'll also hear me say this a lot in the weekly webinars is you have to remove your emotion from this. You might think, I know how people buy my stuff. I know exactly how they're buying my stuff. I promise you, go into Northbeam, use the LTV tab, and you will be humbled, confused, and then eventually you will feel enlightened. So step 1, understand your LTV. Step 2, benchmarks. When I say benchmarks, I am not talking about benchmarks across the wider industry. I am talking about yours, yins, specific channel benchmarks, okay? So you need to understand what is our 30-day ROAS or a 30-day customer acquisition. You use the benchmarking tool in Northbeam. Should have grabbed a screenshot for you, but it's right there in the I believe it's in the sales tab. Create one-day benchmarks that you understand. I have to hit this target every single day with all of my paid media in order to be profitable. This is the absolute target that I have to hit. I've calculated my cost of goods sold. I've looked at my CAC. I've, picked the sort of lag that I want to look at. Use that benchmarking tool to help you understand this is what I need to hit. And then there you go. You got an easy, simple goal to follow every single day for all of your paid media. Any paid media that you're running that is underneath that, I would say you probably need to cut it. Because if you're running paid media and you're not seeing returns on investment on it, especially if you're not seeing LTV returns on that investment, that you are literally wasting money. Does it mean your revenue might go down? Sure. But I would argue that revenue is a bit of a vanity metric in 2023. Next step, daily reviews. All right. You got your LTV. You know what products are selling. You know how much money you're making your first 30, 60, 90 days. You know what benchmarks your ads need to hit every single day for your business to actually grow profitably via ads. You know what your benchmarks are. The next step, we need to do daily reviews. I say daily because I'm a bit of a masochist on this, but the time is of the essence, folks. Daily is the best thing you could do, because if you're trying to run this on a weekly or you're only looking at your ad performance on a monthly basis, you'll miss a lot of pretty nuanced changes that will be happening, right? That you need to be checking on. So, when I say process for daily reviews, I mean, what sort of cycle are you running creative tests on? How are you checking to make sure that test is successful or not successful? What decisions are you making when ads fall inside or outside your benchmarks? Are you spending more? If it's hitting way under your benchmarks, are you spending more? Are you spending less? Are you cutting it? If it's hitting way over your target, are you not spending enough? Right? That sort of balance, that sort of understanding, you need to understand that. And then once you've nailed down and succeeded on one specific channel and you're doing really well and it's just cruising, you've got a nice rhythm going, are you considering launching another channel? Right? These sort of conversations you need to have. And I think we're always ruled by chaos when we're doing performance media buying, because I'm always just like, I don't know, man, just make another ad, just make another ad, make another ad. When in reality, maybe we need to be sitting down and thinking strategically about what exactly are we doing with this business? How exactly is this practice going to work? What's our short and long term, not just our revenue goals, which is what I think a lot of growth teams are betrothed to, but what exactly are our implementation goals? When do we say, okay, we're ready to handle 5 creative tests instead of 3? We're ready to handle launching a new channel because now we've succeeded at Facebook. We're doing great. It's time to move on, right? Like those sort of questions you have to have yourself, and you need to have those daily reviews. The next step is you need to look at creative feedback, right? So understanding how exactly are we taking the information that we're getting from our creative teams and sending it out to other people. So the other people may be the creative teams making our work. They might be media buyers. It might be senior leadership, whoever it might be, right? But you need to share that creative feedback. If you are not making the ads yourself, you need to share creative feedback in a way that actually makes sense to the people making your ads. So things that might be things like understanding click-through rates and understanding scroll stop rates and what that actually means to these creatives, right? So not being like, I didn't get enough thumb stop, like not enough people are engaging with the ad, I can't drive sales that way. Like that sort of conversation doesn't work. But if you're like, hey, this thumb stopper, this didn't get enough people's attention, or what I see all the time, hey, this thumb stopper got a lot of attention, but after they realized it was an ad, they just moved on. So we need to take the next part of that ad and make it something that's more natural, more organic, moves people through a little bit better, right? So sharing creative feedback in a way that's structured, in a way that makes sense, that's understood by the people making the creative, that's critical, right? So that's what I want to see. We just launched Creative Analytics. Go watch my webinar on YouTube about this with our wonderful product lead on that, JMB. And he will teach you how to show creative feedback very quickly, very easily within Northbeam. All right, I got 10 minutes. Let's keep going. The next thing, my favorite thing, the long-term thing, mixed media modeling. Media mix modeling. You need to plan for the long term with MMM. This is understanding your channel mix, understanding if I spend more money on what channel, what impact does it have on my sales, right? This is going to help you navigate things like seasonality. It's going to help you do quarterly planning. It's going to help you, once you start crossing 6 digits monthly spend, it's going to start helping you understand, okay, where should I allocate that for the biggest impact, right? MMM is truly the final masterpiece addition to this process that once you've succeeded in all the other 4 steps, MMM is like the cherry on top that's going to help you take your business like to the next level, right? It's really going to show you where the top of funnel succeeds. It's going to show you not just, oh, we've got our creative tests, where should we be creative testing, but how should my budget be allocated for maximum impact, right? This is the key crucial thing. And we offer this at Northbeam. You can get it, reach out to us, find it on the website. This is truly the double black diamond stuff. If you're already at this stage, you're running a very successful business, and everyone should aspire to get to this, because MMM is not just for Fortune 500s anymore. It's for everyone. It used to be, we don't run this unless we're like, Fortune 500 or Fortune 5000 business, right? This is accessible to businesses of any size. And it's really always shocking to me when I see businesses that have like 10 or 15 people inside them running successfully on so many channels. And I'm like, believe it or not, you guys, it's time to start thinking about MMM, right? So we have this. Would love to chat to you about it, jump on and talk to our team about it, or do a little bit more research. I talk about this stuff all the time if you're curious about MMM, how it works, if it's right for you, right? Understanding if you could do all these things, you're going to maximize your ROAS on all your ads, right? You're going to be able to quickly launch and scale your creative tests. You're going to have a rhythm, a process for testing creative, which I think is the number one thing we all need. And then you're very quickly going to expand to new channels, which I know a lot of you are receiving guidelines to like, we need to be on new channels. We need to go, you know, oh, I want to be on TikTok. I want to be on Pinterest. I want to be on whatever it might be, right? If you could follow these steps, you know, one after the other, and maybe it'll take you a week. Maybe it'll take you a year, right? Maybe it'll take you 18 months. But if you can follow those steps, that's going to allow you to be profitable, right? And at the end of the day, that's what we want. We want to be profitable. And I'm not going to lie to you, they don't teach us stuff at school, man. They don't teach you how to do performance marketing in school. They don't teach you that, like, oh, you know, this is a step you need to follow in order to run performance marketing creatively, right? They don't teach you that stuff. They show you ad campaigns. If any of you even actually came from advertising or marketing, which a lot of you didn't. So I wanted to put the session together today just to show you, hey, these are the 5 steps you can take right now. I think that this is going to be the beginning of a very, very amazing process of doing this education, doing this teaching every single week in our webinars, you know, all the time on our YouTube channel and on our Twitter, of actually teaching people this framework, because I would argue that we didn't invent this. Like, Northbeam didn't invent this framework, right? Northbeam was built to satisfy the people who were succeeding with this framework already. A lot of brands you're going to talk to today, brands you see at the bottom of this screen. So please reach out to us. Would love to talk to you. We got a lot of amazing people that love our tool. I just threw a quote on here by Carly, who you're going to talk to later today. I mean, she is crushing it with Northbeam every single day. And she was the first guest in our webinar, and she does amazing work. So definitely don't miss her session. Housekeeping stuff before I get into questions with my last 7 minutes here. Feel free to email me. If you have any questions, you want to talk, you want to get on a conversation with our sales team, whatever it might be, you want to come on the webinar, you want me to come on your webinar, whatever it might be, drop me an email. Also, bonus points, mention DTCx when you're talking to our sales rep if you are trying to get Northbeam, and we'll give you your 2nd month free. Now, with all that said, I'm going to finally open this chat tab here, and I'm going to see if I can find some stuff. Zach, what about multi-level marketing? You are in the wrong webinar, bud. Next time we'll talk about MLM. Let's see. Where are you measuring ROAS for each channel? So you can measure it all in Northbeam. So if you're looking at, if you have Northbeam, you could see the ROAS all the way down to every single specific ad, not just the ad set or the campaign within Northbeam. You can see it all in one table. So I can actually filter and be like, oh, show me all of the ads that have, you know, a ROAS over 3, for example, right? Like, I can literally just sort, move all of those ads right up to the top, and see them all in one place. Let's see, what else we got? Will we get a recording? Oh, many recordings of this. Diva, glad I could be helpful. Anybody have any other questions? Hit me up with stuff here. I definitely have things that I can keep talking about to fill the time. I would say join us every Monday. Go to northbeam.io/newsletter, sign up. I would love to chat with you. I would love to hear your success stories. I would love to teach you more about how to grow your business using this creative marketing experimentation framework. How do you recommend measuring multiple video channels, linear and YouTube? Let's chat about that. We have a little way of doing it. Let's chat. It's too complicated for the 5 minutes I have remaining. How much do I trust Meta ROAS? I trust Meta ROAS as a directional response. 7-day click directional. And what I mean when I say directional is, like, if I see that my Meta ROAS lines up with the sort of ROAS I might see on other channels or other ways that I'm measuring, I understand it's directional, right? My company uses Thought Metric. I don't know Thought Metric, so I don't know where they come from. I'm not sure. Any tips for small businesses focusing on ads? Yes. Go back. Let's see. Wait. Go back and watch last week's webinar with Barry Hott, or talk to Barry today. He's very, very good at kind of helping you understand how to make the first ad, because I think comprehending your audience is the crucial key, Kyle. So you need to understand your audience. You need to understand what they're looking at. So we'll start with that. I normally upload my sales data to blends with ads data. Can I use Northbeam? Of course. You won't need to upload anything. You're all good. Looker Studio, listen, I appreciate the manualness of that. I've used a lot of Looker, Looker now, what do they call it? Google Data Studio, but I'm too lazy. I just want it to all happen automatically, so I don't use that anymore. All right, I'm gonna stop sharing. Any other questions? Autumn, you want to come back up here? What's going on?
Yeah, so we saw something in the general. When are we adding YouTube to the creative dashboard?
Well, oh man, YouTube will be added. Here you go. It's so tough to speak on product things because so much of it is out of our control because this is a relationship with the platform, right? So here's what I always say when people ask me, when is this product update coming? The product update will come when the product update arrives. That's my answer. We are working very hard. We want to have everything in that creative analytics dashboard, right? We want that. But a lot of it is out of our hands. We have to get deals with APIs and all of this stuff. And many of the platforms love us because we help people actually spend more money on their platforms effectively, and that's what they want. But don't have an answer for that one.
Correct. And we have two other questions, one from Stephanie Sousa, one from Byron Myers. Northbeam versus Wicked reports. Stephanie just started to look into both. And then where is the conversion lag multiplier in Northbeam?
The conversion lag multiplier. Usually hold on, I'm bringing this up. Usually I'm setting that myself, or I'm deciding where I want to set that. I don't use it as often. I'm normally just looking straight at Northbeam metrics and using the benchmarking tool to do that. And also the platform changed a little bit recently, and I haven't been in it in the last week or so. So I'm not super sure on that, but I know that can be calculated. Northbeam versus Wicked reports. I have never used Wicked reports. I understand that they've been around for a while. I think the constant thing that I see is this overlap between just being an analytics tool and being something that actually helps you clean and organize data and gives you insights. When you're evaluating a tool for looking at your marketing, is it just something that puts all of your data in one place, or is it something that actually does work on your data and provides you with metrics that are actually useful? And I would say when you're evaluating things, Northbeam is the latter, where we're not just an analytics platform that shows you all your data. We are doing a lot of work, machine learning under the hood, constantly managing, pruning, fixing our algorithms to make the data more accurate. It's not just a port directly from a platform. So that's my answer to that.
Perfect. And with that, this is going to conclude Bryan's presentation.